I'll now proceed with some of the questions. We've received quite a lot of questions, so I'll try to answer as many as possible. So I think one question that has come up quite often is, yes, we will be sharing the slides as well as the recording of this webinar, so that you can pass that on internally or go back to some of the information. When it's, let me see, what are the other questions I have? Just taking that into order. Yes, so the exhibitor manual, just answer that. You will receive login details automatically beginning of June. I do have quite a few comments or questions around the restrictions as well. And some of the comments are indeed that, that the restrictions are potentially be lenient by the time the show takes place, end of November, beginning of December. And of course, this is something that we are hopeful to see. But at this point, we want to be managing expectations and preparing according to what we know as of today and what are the requirements, either from the venue, the local authorities, or simply the whole secure protocol that we've designed for the current context. But yes, we will be reconfirming as we go, and as we get closer to the event, we will be reconfirming any changes in those restrictions, which, as I just said, we're all hopeful will be less, more lenient than they are currently. If I go back to some of the questions, yes, we mentioned that we are expecting 1,200 exhibitors this year, and yes, I can confirm that this would be at the in-person event. At the moment, we have over 900 companies already confirmed as participating to the exhibition. We expect, of course, to see some more companies registering in the coming month. And we also still are to receive the list of exhibitors from a number of country pavilions. And we have over 15 of those, and usually they have about 20 to 25 average exhibitors present on their pavilions. So we are confident that this is the 1,200 exhibitors is what to expect this year at the event. There are a couple of questions on the packages for the online event. One of them is whether there are extra fees for the in-person. So this really depends on whether you are a registered exhibitor or if you would be a new exhibitor. So rather than giving you a full review of the different options, I would definitely suggest that you get in touch with us. Alex is your main point of contact for everything in regards to the online event, and he'll be happy to take you through the different options based on your objective and needs. Okay, let me check through the questions. Yes, so again, in terms of all of the information that Gary has been sharing during his presentation with this, either in form of sharing this presentation as well as in the exhibitor manual and the standard construction guidelines. We do have a couple of questions, and completely understandable that you're asking yourselves, what would happen if, in the very unlikely event that the event cannot take place? Obviously, we are still 6 months away of the event, so should the event not be able to take place as planned, although we're very confident that it will take place, we will definitely present exhibitors with a number of options when it comes to the money that you would have already transferred for your participation. And we will also present, those options closer to the event when we have more clarity on what to expect. So that includes, either the impossibility of participating due to government restrictions such as quarantine or simply a travel ban, or restrictions in the sense of the event not being able to take place at all. So we will be looking, of course, at the different situation for each company, and of course, some of that will be very much depending on where you are geographically located. But we want to reassure you, yes, of course, that we will be offering you a number of solutions and and make sure that, yes, you're well covered. I do have a question, two questions actually related to stand sharing. So some companies, of course, are exhibiting together with another company. And the question was whether the Feather tool for customized invitations, we will, of course, it is possible as long as you're registered as a company sharer for you to also receive your own personalized registration link. And also, we'd like to say that we also have a number of solutions for you as a stand sharer to take part in the online event. Once again, I would encourage you to reach out to Alex. We'll be able to present you those different options and see what's the best package for your company needs and objectives. Yes, a few questions about the packages again. So I just confirm that we will be sharing that information. You can also refer to the event website, reach out to your account manager, Alex. Yeah, I have another question here, whether there is additional cost for participating online. I think we've answered that. Again, it very much depends whether you are an existing exhibitor or if you are a new exhibitor. I can't see from the company name here. I can't be 100% sure which category you fall into, but we'll definitely follow up with you. Okay, very good question here on the experience in terms of human resources for the online event. So, as the exhibitor packages has a number of company representatives that you can register in the platform, and really it is up to you on how many of your staff you want to dedicate. The setup of your company is rather quick. So our recommendation can probably be, because of course, I mean, you do not want to stay in front of the online event, but to maybe, just do regular checks, just as you would do with your emails or messages on a regular basis during the day, and just, make sure you accept connections for anyone that you think relevant for your company, or accept meeting invitations, and also just, maybe have someone in your team that would be more specifically managing the overall online event participation for your company, so that that person can focus on and help the colleagues that are involved in scheduling their meetings, or pointing them, highlighting some of the contacts that are maybe more relevant based on their geographic sales area or their category of products that they are responsible for. Something that we can also recommend is actually, because the event takes place both throughout 2 weeks, so the week prior to the event, where you can of course already host meetings, but also you can use the virtual event to prepare for the in-person event. But as the event continues during the week of the in-person, what we can recommend as well is have some of your team either at your headquarters or in your offices around the world to also be involved and hold meetings with those attendees that will not be joining us in Frankfurt. And as Anne was presenting, we expect that that there'll be quite a significant amount of online attendees only. This is just not only because they won't be able to travel to the event, but because of the convenience of the online event. They will be to be part of FI Europe, which they may have not been able to do before, whereas they will now. And typically, as Anne was presenting, we've seen an online event attract about 40 to 60% of new audiences. So this is a great opportunity. Again, we'll be happy to discuss this in more detail with you, so feel free to reach out. Let me see some of the other questions. So there are a few questions around possibility to cancel participation and when should you be doing that. There isn't a firm deadline for canceling your participation to the event. As always, I mean, there can be many reasons for a company to be unable to participate. We know this year is a specifically a challenging year in many ways. Again, we do hope and we do foresee that with the progress of the vaccination that we will be able to see some form of a return to more normality for events, of course, but just in our personal lives as well. So when it comes to cancellation, at this point, I would like to refer you to the terms and conditions of your Spain contract, but also I encourage you to just liaise with your account manager, and we'll be happy to discuss the specifics of your situation and what solutions we can propose you. Another question is about when to decide on committing for the online packages. Based on the real deadline here, for existing exhibitors, as Alex mentioned, we have a special offer, which is that you can apply for a free of charge basic exhibitor package, and we have a limited number of those available. So we'd really encourage you to just position yourself as quickly as possible. I can imagine you may have further questions on the conditions and what the package contains. Again, please do reach out to Alex, who will connect you with or directly with your account manager if you do know who that is. So I have a couple questions on attendance. Well, we are not, I mean, we basically, the registration for attendance to the event is open, will be open all the way through the last day of the event. So as mentioned, we won't be having online, I mean, on-site registration, but it will still be possibility, let's say if a visitor comes at the event and they want to be joining, there will be a possibility for them to register online. Using the mobile device and get access to the event. So there isn't a time limit for registering. As an exhibitor, of course, there isn't a real deadline, of course, but you want to allow yourself enough time to prepare for the event, either online or in person, and of course benefit from the exposure pre-event and preparing, your meetings and schedule for your on-site participation. Okay, I have a question around the engagement on the online platform and what are our expectations. Of course, I mean, online events are still rather new to our audiences and ourselves as well. What we have seen though is that we've seen quite an improvement in the engagement overall. The new platform that we've been using for the last event and the one that we'll be using for FI Europe also is more user friendly than what we've seen at some point. And of course, I mean, what we believe is it will be very different because this will be the online event will be in combination with the in-person event. So the online event will serve many more purposes than if you are at the virtual only event. They both have distinct benefits, but altogether, of course, we are of course learning and continuing to see an improvement in the engagement overall at virtual events. I have a question on the data that we'll be able to collect through the online events. So the online event will allow you to schedule meetings as well as create connections. And as soon as you have held a meeting with an individual or have a mutual acceptance of connections, from that moment on, you will be receiving the contact details of, you'll be having access to the contact details. This also applies if you are sponsoring a session, like one of the conference session, or if you're running one of your exhibitor showcase, anyone that will be watching or taking part will be also counting towards the contact, the attendees from which you receive contact details. So I see another question, just to a reminder of the expected number of exhibitors and visitors. So as mentioned, of course, this is not exact science, but we're pretty confident that we will be around 1,200 exhibitors and 23,000 plus visitors to the event this year. And of course, this is not something that we've estimated just without looking at facts. We've been factoring travel disruption with conditions, and again, factor an impact of the pandemic on those attendees numbers. So we are pretty confident that we'll be there and about when it comes to those KPIs. I do see a question as well around Germany entry requirements and whether these will be changing. As we commented earlier, this is based on what we know today. I think a lot of us are certainly hopeful that the restrictions will be more lenient. We are also optimistic, but of course we have what we call government-imposed restrictions, and those are either a travel ban or quarantine, either on the country of departure or the country of arrival. This will be addressed specifically, and of course, when we have, let's say, in a 3 months prior to the 2 to 3 months prior to the event, should the number of countries from which companies are originating from be still impacted by such restrictions, we will look into the possibilities and offer a number of options. I do see a question: can we only be as a visitor or do not book a stand? Of course, it is always possible for anyone to register as a visitor to the event, and we'll be delighted to see you in Frankfurt. And if you're unable to travel to Frankfurt for whatever reason, of course, we'll be also very happy to welcome you at the online event. We are reaching the end of our session. I see that there are possibly a couple questions I might not have answered. I think they are mostly all answered. Just a quick question. Yes, there will be possibilities to book meetings ahead of the event using the online platform. And as I mentioned, we will be creating additional seating areas, business meeting lounges as well, where you will be able to hold those meetings. And this will be more important than ever this year due to possible restrictions on your stand. I think this covers most of the questions. I apologize in advance for anyone that have questions that I've not answered specifically. We will go back to those unanswered questions, and we will send you a personal message and answer to your question. As mentioned earlier, we will also publish a full FAQ and share the slides and the recording of this session. So for now, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of you for attending this webinar today. We really hope it provided you with some clarification on what to expect from FI Europe 2021. As I just mentioned, you will be receiving an email with the on-demand link of the webinar as well as the slides. So please keep an eye out for it. And for now, I will wish you a good end of your day, and we definitely look forward to seeing you all at FI Frankfurt 2021 or online. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.